Hello, stamping friends. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Tuesday's YouTube Live. I am passionate about today's project. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I have to say, this is probably one of my most favorite projects I've done. Now that you have your curiosity up, let me share with you a little hint. I got my earrings on that kind of coordinate with our project. And if you've ever been to my house, you will, at Halloween time, you will probably see witch feet and candy corn all over my house because I love decorating with those two items. I just think it's such a fun color combo, and I love sweets anyway. I don't eat candy corn a lot plain, but I do add peanuts with it for a little sweet and salt together. And then I don't know why I got onto the witch feet kick, but I love decorating with that. We're not going to use witch feet, but we're going to use another kind of feet that do some dancing and interactive things. So I can't wait to share with you. All right, let me turn my phone camera around and then I will share with you today's project. Wait, before we start, I have to share with you my flip-flops. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about where I got the inspiration to come up with this idea. I have to show you one of my inspirations came from this cute little Ray Dunn mug that my friend Jenny Portnova gave me. Isn't that adorable? Now, like I said, I am a candy corn freak. Not so much that I eat a lot of it. In fact, not the only way, but my favorite way of eating candy corn is with peanuts and candy corn because they taste like salted nut rolls. So, but I do like to decorate with candy corn. As you can see, I have orange and white on, and my nails aren't candy corn, but I have done those before. But anyway, isn't that cute? It pretty much sums me up at Halloween. Candy coma, that's me. And the other one I just got this week from one of my team members, Patty Gallagher. Isn't this adorable? So of course, as soon as I saw this one, this is another Ray Dunn mug, I thought of our stamp set. So you're going to see a project kind of incorporating these two items. So let's get started. Oh, I have a couple more things that inspired me. One was how you can make paper look like candy corn, although I have done different variations of this, but I had made a card using this concept for the front of the card, and my teammate, Kathy Belcher, she made me this. Now, guess what? There used to be cookies that had candy corn on it, but they were gone almost as soon as I got this gift, but this was the tag that was on it. Isn't that adorable? Even this little heart has candy corn colors on here. So that's using the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. And then I also got this treat at our Cozy Craft Retreat from my friend Pat Brannon. Now this one I'm going to almost case identically, but I'm going to share with you how we do this. And I changed a little bit of the color, but isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I just love this. Okay, so with all those things in mind, this is what I came up with. We are going to take a piece of cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5. And you know me, I always forget my bone folder right away. I scored it in half on the long side at 4 1/4 and just fold that over and use your bone folder to make that crisp fold here. And then the next layer we're going to do is just basic black. And I just cut this 1/8 inch smaller than the card front, which is going to be, let me think, you'd think I'd know this off of the top of my head, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we are just going to adhere this flat. I don't want this card to be too thick, so we're not going to put dimensionals on this one. So let's just put this on as our first layer, and I like the 1/8 inch 1/8 inch border, so it's going to be a tight fit. This one you're going to have to do tight if you want 2 layers, because the next layer we're going to do uses a die, and these measurements are already made, but this, once you die cut it out, it comes to 5 1/4 by 4. And I want to share with you, this is really one of my favorite dies. It's called Split Card Textures. This has been not available for quite a while, but it is back in stock, and it's only $28 for 2 nice sized dies. Look at, you don't have to do a lot with that because it pretty much fills the whole front of the card. And so make sure you grab that. Item number is 159162, and I promise you, you are going to get a lot of use out of this. So we're going to do the same thing and just adhere this to our card front. However, because these lines are so skinny, my tape is going to be too wide. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of liquid glue over here. Just a tiny bit. We don't want too much, otherwise it spurts out the side and makes our cards messy. So now we will just center this on the front, like so. I'm kind of pulling in some of the candy corn colors. I tried it with yellow in there, but it just, it needed a little bit more contrast, so that's why I chose black, and you'll see why in a minute. All right, now I might not have put enough glue on there. I think that's good. By the way, I have Disney nails because we just got back from Disney with our grandkids from Arizona and their family. And 3 out of 4 kids all have birthdays in 1 week. So we just did one big birthday celebration. We had so much fun. I'm still catching up on my rest though. All right, this is going to be our card base, and I'm going to set this aside. The next thing we are going to learn how to make is a candy corn gnome, but this one is going to be a special one because there happens to be a trend out there. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but this is the coolest thing. I love interactive cards. So we are going to make an interactive gnome card, and what's going to be interactive about him is his feet are going to move. And I first saw this from one of my teammates who brought this idea using the bewitching witch feet and hat. And then Susan Campfield did a video on kind of the same technique and also using the gnome. So that's where I saw the idea. So this was not mine. And I think Susan Campfield got the idea from Connie Ingram. I don't know if Connie has a blog or anything, but that's the name where she got it from. And then who knows if Connie got it from someone. That's how it goes when you case. Nobody ever really knows where they originally came from, but that's how far back I go for who I know did what. So that's the backstory. Now let's start building. The first thing we're going to do is take a small piece of paper. This is just a 1-inch square, and I just took a 1.5-inch punch. But if you don't have a 1/2-inch punch, you could use like the gnome nose. We're going to use this later, but that's about the size. You can see it's about that size. So it really doesn't matter what you use, whether it's a punch or a die. Just make sure that the hole is about a 1/2 inch. All right, now we're going to take the feet, and I've already die cut these out. This is from the Kindest Gnomes stamps, or bundle, I should say, and then this is the gnomes dies. So his little feet are here, and we're just going to adhere this to the bottom of this basic white piece of paper and just put it up maybe about 1/4 inch. Now you can see my 1 inch is a little bit too big. I tried making a smaller square, but it got too small. So what you're going to want to do is take your paper snips and just kind of trim off that edge there. And we're not going to see this part anyway, but just take that corner off like that. That will help when we construct this. Okay, so we got this far. Now we're going to set this aside and work on his hat. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways to make the hat because I could not decide which I like better. So I thought, well, why not share both ways? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the bewitching hat. Now, the good news is this awesome stamp set is still available. However, the punch is not, which is really a bummer. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That has been super popular, but the good thing is with the bewitching stamp set, it's still worth getting because you can stamp this and still get that outline of how the witch hat goes, and it's really not that bad to fussy cut out. Of course, if you have the punch, it's even easier because we're not even going to use the stamp set, but like I said, if you're desperate, you still can make this project using this. But I am going to show another way that you don't even have to use the punch, but I do want to show both ways because I know a lot of you already have the punch, and so this is just another idea for you if you already own that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we'll start with the witch hat that some of you may have, some of you may not have, and we are just going to punch out a Daffodil Delight hat. And we don't need all these little extra things, so I can just toss those. I used to save them, but I hardly use all the little pieces that come out. So this is going to be the base of our hat. Then what I did was I took some strips of cardstock. Now, as you can guess, we want this to look like candy corn colors. So of course I chose the white and pumpkin pie, and both of these are cut 2 inches by 5/8 inch. So what we're going to do is take our multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're only going to put these strips on the top part. Now there is a little band that goes here, so we don't really need to fill that in. We're going to put a cute little band on there later, but we are just going to add some glue here, and we're just going to layer these strips on here. So let's start with the orange one, and we want to make sure we go down far enough so that band covers up the orange, and it will pop over, and then the white on top, and just make sure they, butt against each other. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to re-punch this out. So I probably could have made these a little bit longer so I have a handle to hold on to. So now remember when we punched it, let's see. Yeah, it did go this way. So let's stick this in here and we'll see. Do you see what I mean? I don't really have a handle here, but we'll see if I can do it. Actually, let me teach you another little trick. If you ever have this situation where you don't have handles long enough, all you do is take a Post-it note and stick it on here, and this is your instant handle. Now it's easier to maneuver, and we can stick this in here, and you just want to reline this punch up with what we already punched, like this, and we are just going to punch it one more time, like this. There we go. Now let's get rid of all of our little scraps here. Gotta have a neat workspace. Even though you can't see the rest of my room, it is not a neat workspace. All right, there's our candy corn hat. Isn't that cute? But we're not done. I told you about that little band that we're gonna make. I already pre-did this, but let me share with you what I did. I don't know if you can see this. I made 2 strips of washi tape right against each other. And I'm gonna grab my punch, and we are just going to make our own band with this washi tape like this. You can't quite get it wide enough if you only do 1 strip of washi because this band is curved. So that's why we have it 2 layers, and we're just going to punch just that little band so that we have a nice glossy band like this. All right, now we are going to take our liquid glue again, and we're just going to glue on the back side, and we're going to tie some of this black cardstock in, and you can kind of see where the band goes. There's a little niche there, and just going to add a little bit of bling to this hat. All right, that's one of the hats that we're going to make. Now that was pretty easy and fast with the punch, and you can see the candy corn look. Now I'm going to teach you one other way that uses the dies that come with the Gnomes die set. I took a 1.5, I think that's the dimension. Let's see, this is 2 by 1.5. And then we're going to use the same width of this, 5/8 inch by 1.5 inch. And we're going to do the same thing, just adhere this. We'll start at the top and make our little candy corn graphic or whatever. And then do the same thing. And then we use Daffodil Delight for the bottom one. So here is the base of it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just step aside for a second, and I'm going to use the die for the gnome hat, and I'm going to die cut that out, and then I'll be right back. All right, here we go with the gnome hat. Still has the same candy corn look. Isn't that cute? And I love that it has a little stitching around it as well. So now we have to decide which one we're going to use, but let's keep working on the gnome, and then I'll try both hats, and then you can help me decide which one might look better. All right, so here's our 2 hats. So far, which one do you like? They're both cute, but I would say, I don't know, it really doesn't matter which one you use. But again, if you don't have the witch hat, then just go ahead with that one. They're both going to work out. All right, now we need our card front, and we're going to build our gnome on this. Now remember, we are doing this interactive one, so I'm going to share with you how to make the legs dance and move. So we have this little piece that we already did, and I think we'll place him right about here at the bottom. So all you do is put this piece down here. Then we need a mini dimensional, and I get my take your pick tool because this is easier to pick up. And there is a little trick even to putting your dimensional on. I like to put mine at the top of this open circle here. And that way, because if you put it in the middle, when it is held upright, it's just gonna fall down like that. So I want the feet to be about that far from the bottom. So just place it at the top of that open circle, right there in the middle. Do you see that? How it's close to that? All right, now I already cut the beard out. This is the Gnome Beard, and I just did it out of basic white, but we do have snowy white velvet sheets if you want more of like a fuzzy, but I mostly use that, but I'm just going to use basic white this time, but either one will work. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is adhere this to this piece. So I'm going to take off that, and then I'm going to, well, you know what? We need to build the hat first. So we are going to have to make a decision here. Either we put this one on, which one do you like better? Or we do this one that comes with it. I probably should have done both, right? Well, let's just start with this one, and then I'll show you the other one at the end. All right, so this one, we are going to just follow the line. If you look close at the beard, there's little indentations where that hat goes. So let's just add a little bit of liquid glue right along that line. Maybe I better grab my mat in case some of it overflows. And just follow that line like that. And then I like to pop the nose on top. Now my next dilemma was, what color nose do you make? Do you make it realistic? Do you make it whimsical and fun and cartoonish? So I kind of went in between. What I did was I took basic white and I played with many of our flesh tones, and I chose Stampin' Up 700, number 700, and it gives kind of a, not really a pinkish, not really an orange, because you could, I do have some, let me show you the difference. This one looked too out there, like it, even though it looks like flesh, it just looked too, like it doesn't match. This one just reminded me more of a cartoonish type. I wanted it somewhere in between, so that's why I colored this. It has just kind of more of a flesh tone, but it's a little bit more orangey. So what we're going to do with that is just put another mini dimensional on there. And then let's pop that nose up like that. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this, and then we'll attach it to the front of our card. For this one, I want to use a little bit larger dimensional, and I actually still have some scraps from the outside edges. I know I've told you this before. Don't throw those outside edges because they work just as well as the, you know, the larger dimensionals. So one towards the top, and then we'll put one at the seam here, right where those two meet. Do not put dimensionals down in this area though, because that will prevent these legs from dancing. All right, so we are just going to bring the card over and place him like this. And then let me show you how he dances. Let me move all this stuff. Isn't that cute? All right. The other thing that you could do, well, I'll show you with the other hat. I'm going to make another card just so you can see, but isn't that fun how he dances? All right. So I want to share with you how you can use the other hat and make it just as cute. All right. This card I have pretty well to the part where we add the hat on. So I built it pretty much the same way. And this time we are going to put the hat, let me set this aside for a second. We're going to add the hat. Now remember, there's a little outline where the gnome die hat would go, but this one doesn't fit that. So we are going to just put that over the top of it and kind of meet the bottom edge of this about where that line is, like that. It's going to go down a little bit farther than the other one, but that's all right. And so just add some glue to the top of this and stick that on here. Grab my mat again. I should just leave this out. Right about there. All right, now we need to add that nose, and so I did the same thing just because I like that color. Again, this is the Stampin' Up! Blend number 700, and I will put in the description the actual link because we have a lot of flesh tones and it's important that you get the right one. You get 2 in a pack, and so you're going to want the one that has the 700 in, and like I said, I will put that link there. All right, let's add his little nose. We need one more dimensional here. Whoops. All right, and we're gonna have to get these Halloween cards in the mail pretty soon. It's gonna be here before you know it. And we're just gonna place it right about there. And then again, we add dimensionals on the top of the hat. Oh, see, I got the little Post-it note here. That's from when I punched it. It's all right though, it won't show through. Right there. And then we'll put one on the seam right here, so those two stay together. And then let's put this on the front of the card. And just make sure the beard is covering up that seam of where the beard hits the feet. Oh, he's so cute. Make sure the hat doesn't go over the edge as well. All right, so there's our second one. And let's see if his feet move. Why aren't they moving quite as... I'm going to take this off and add one more dimensional. I think I might have, there might be some sticky around it. I don't know. For some reason, this one isn't dancing as well, so I'm just going to redo the dimensional here. I think we went, where did we go? About right. Oh, you know why it's not doing that? I have glue that's coming out on the top. All right, another lesson here. Don't you love it when people mess up when they're doing videos? Because then when you do it at home, you'll say, well, mine never does that. Guess what? It happens to everybody. So this is an adhesive eraser, and I have this within arm's reach. And the reason it wasn't dancing is because I put too much glue in there, and it's sticking out here, and it's making the beard stick to the beards stick to this paper because there's glue here. So you need to get that off, and they will not move freely if there's a little bit of stickiness there. Okay, now I can feel that is free. And I bet you anything, it's not gonna do that anymore. So let's bring this back again. See, that's how we learn. Sometimes in hindsight, I'm glad when things like that happen, because otherwise you would say, if that happened to you, you'd say, how come mine doesn't dance and hers did? So that's a little trick there. All right, let's try this again. And I think I'm free. Yep, no more sticky there. And let's add this again. There we go. I think he's gonna dance. Yep, it moves. There. Okay, so we have our dancing legs that move freely now. Okay, so which one do you prefer? Which hat? Do you see how they both work? It just depends on what you have. So thank you so much for joining me. Wasn't that a fun card? And I hope you like candy corns as well. If you don't like to eat them, just maybe you can do cards and decorate with them, but they're just really fun. And I want to also mention, because the time is running out for this starter kit now, oh, you guys, this is such a good deal. I wish I could sign up again, because you can choose $155 worth of products for only $99. Remember, you get free shipping on this. So it is such an awesome deal. It's just silly not to do. If you buy a lot of Stampin' Up! Anyway, why not get it as a discount? You can, it doesn't mean you have to continue. You can take it for a test drive and just see if you like it. And there's really no strings attached. It's just a great way to build your supplies. And, you know, we have wonderful holiday products out there, and I would love to have you join my team. There's so much more that goes on than just buying at a discount. If you choose to be involved, we have a Facebook page. We share ideas. We have volunteers swapping amongst our group, and just a lot of fun chatter about stamping and being creative and stuff. So I just really encourage you to chat with me about it, and I can share more, and you really just don't have anything to lose. In fact, that's how I started when I signed up about 16 years ago. I went back and forth for a month, probably a little over a month, like, oh, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if I'll make my minimums. And it was actually my husband who told me, he said, Lorri, would you buy it anyway, even if you weren't a demonstrator? And I said, you betcha. I love the products. And he said, well, just do it. And if you don't like it, if you don't, you know, feel like you'll spend the minimums, just let it go. And so I took his advice, and I'm so glad, because there was no turning back for me. I'm just so happy. And 16 years later, I'm still just as excited about Stampin' Up! As I was when I started. So just give it a try and just see if it's a fit for you. And I can almost promise you that you're going to love it. All right, that's all for today. So thank you again for joining me. Remember, I do my YouTube lives on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock Arizona time. I always have to add Arizona time because we do not observe daylight savings time. So if you're not sure what time zone we're on, just Google what time is it in Arizona, and then you'll know what time it's at. I also want to remind you that I do have a host code at the top here, and if there's any products that interest you and you're interested in purchasing, please use the host code when ordering from my website, and I will be happy to send a little treat to you and a thank you card as my way of saying thank you so much for your order. I so appreciate it. And then also I want to thank all the people that signed up for my online card club that I just started this month. I am in the process of cutting, and I'm going to be getting these in the mail soon. You will for sure, or I will for sure have them shipped by the 25th, which is my date that I promised. But I will be starting another round of projects in November. So watch out for that. If you haven't done it this month, you can join at any time. This is a recurring subscription, and you can stop and start it whenever you would like. So, and there's a bonus if you stick with it for 6 months. You'll get $25 in products as a bonus. All right, thanks again, guys, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.